In headlines, African Union agrees a resolution stating no African head of state should appear before an ICC tribunal. Nigeria inflicts a 2-1 defeat on Ethiopia in the first leg of World Cup playoff in Addis Ababa. AMISOM begins foot patrols in Somalia to deter Al-Shabaab militants. A very warm welcome to the morning news from Ethiopian television. I'm Rahel Taklewanis. The extraordinary session of AU heads of state and government agreed that no African head of state or government should be tried before an ICC tribunal during his or her term of office, and requested the African ICC member states to seek for amendment of the Rome Statute. The leaders have collectively requested for deferral of the cases of Kenya and Sudan. Rugby Juanes reports.
African heads of state and government have gathered at the African Union headquarters in Addis to deliberate on their relations with the International Criminal Court (ICC). Opening the session, AU chairperson, Ethiopian Prime Minister Hailemariam Desalegn said Africa has made it clear that democracy, the rule of law and respect for human rights are imperative for stability and socio-economic development.
Our commitment to these fundamental values is not merely to please our partners. It is born out of our strong conviction, which emanated from our own political history and the desire to find homegrown solutions to the myriad of problems confronting us.
He said, in spite of so many challenges, the democratization process in the continent has gained significant momentum. Talking about the ICC, the chairperson said although its members expected to promote the cause of justice with a sense of impartiality and fairness, that has not been the case so far. He said the double standard that both the UN Security Council and the ICC have displayed with regards to the AU's request for deferral of prosecution in a number of cases has been particularly worrisome.
The unfair treatment that we have been subjected to by the ICC is completely unacceptable. Once again, I would like to note that Africa has and never will support impunity of leaders who willfully murder their own people. It is regrettable that the numerous proposals that we have presented within the framework of the Rome Statute to address these issues have been totally ignored.
Hailemariam indicated that Sudanese President Omar Hassan al-Bashir has been demonstrating the necessary political leadership and commitment to resolve the Darfur issue. And the AU, through the high-level panel, has also been assisting Sudan in overcoming its difficulties. Hailemariam indicated that Kenya has also come a long way in terms of addressing the post-2007 election violence.
In this recognition of these encouraging developments that we have been requesting for the reconciliation process to be given a chance. But the ICC response flies full in the face of these realities. There is no reason why the ICC finds it difficult to accept the legitimate request.
Out of the 122 member states of the International Criminal Court, 34 are from Africa. Through the continental body AU, Africans have been objecting to undertakings of the ICC, saying it was not fair. And there have been communications between ICC and the AU since the summit of the African Union last May. AU Commission Chairperson Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma said her organization sent letters and delegation to the ICC. She stressed on the need to strengthen the continent's judicial system.
We should, however, do more to strengthen the integrity and capacity of our national and continental judicial systems, including the African Court on Human and People's Rights, so that the ICC indeed becomes the court of last instance
But the Commissioner underlined that it's critical to remain within the legal framework of the Rome Statute. The session has agreed that no head of state or government should be tried before an international court during his or her term in office, and requested the African ICC member states to seek for amendment in the Rome Statute. The leaders have collectively requested for deferral of the cases of Kenya and Sudan.
Meanwhile, the extraordinary summit of the African Union appointed Algerian diplomat Ismail Chergoui as Commissioner for Peace and Security Council of the Continental Body. Mr. Chergoui will replace a fellow Algerian, Ramtan El Mamra, who recently resigned to become Algeria's foreign minister. Chergoui is currently serving as ambassador of Algeria to the Russian Federation. He had served as the Algerian Consul General in Geneva and as ambassador to Ethiopia. The new commissioner has been sworn in on Saturday during the extraordinary session of the African Union. A delegation of professors from the southern state of the U.S., including former U.S. Ambassador to Ethiopia Tibor Nagy, conferred with the Deputy Prime Minister Demek Mekonnen on Sunday. The delegation from universities which specialize in science and technology has been on a week-long tour to Addis Ababa, Diredhawa, Adama and Hawassa universities to explore ways to forge partnership between universities in Ethiopia and the U.S. The delegation members noted the importance of supplementing this massive expansion in higher education with efforts focused on the development of the associated faculties. Deputy Prime Minister Demek Mekonnen, for his part, said the partnership with U.S. universities specializing in science and technology was highly important for Ethiopia's efforts in human capital development. Ethiopian Roads Authority said over 73% of construction of a 210.9 kilometers road that links Afar and Tigray states has so far been completed. The road projects are being undertaken with over 2.9 billion birr, which is fully financed by the government of Ethiopia. The authority told Ethiopian news agency that the Orbala Agulai Berhale Dalol road construction is being undertaken by two local contractors, Sur and Defense Constructions. According to the authority, construction of the road is expected to be finalized this budget year. In a related news, the Ethiopian Roads Authority revealed that some 88 road projects are under construction across the country to increase the nation's road coverage. According to Ethiopian news agency, the authority is constructing 5,748 kilometers linking roads throughout the country. Among these, more than 2,000-kilometer roads are already constructed over the last 3 years, while 945 kilometers long roads are under construction this fiscal year. Besides the new roads, more than 2,000-kilometer long roads have also been upgraded. According to the authority, the road projects created job opportunities to the locals in addition to easing transportation of people and goods. The fifth organizational meeting of the Afar National Democratic Party (ANDP) held for 6 days in Awash town concluded by electing new chairperson and deputy chairperson. The party elected Daha Ahmed and Awal Ariba as chairperson and deputy chairperson respectively. The meeting reviewed activities carried out in resettlement, health, as well as education sectors over the past 3 years. It also passed significant decisions aimed to improve the lives of pastoralists in the state and achieve the growth and transformation plan. Nigeria survived the score in Addis Ababa as the African champions rallied to beat Ethiopia 2-1 in the opening leg of the World Cup playoff. The Walia Antelopes were the superior team for the first hour and led after 56 minutes as Nigerian goalkeeper Vincent Inayama misjudged a cross from Bahailo Asafa. Nigerians equalized through Emmanuel Emenike long-range drive after 67 minutes. Emenike then won and scored a penalty late on to seal a barely deserved win. The African Cup of Nations holders struggled for much of the encounter. Ethiopia were denied a shock lead in the 23rd minute when Ethiopia's Saladin Said saw his effort prevented from finding the net by Godfrey Abona's goal line clearance. The referee declared that the ball had not crossed the line, but Ethiopia was rewarded for their persistent 11 minutes into the second half. Bahailu Asafa netting in bizarre fashion as Enyama caught his deep left wing cross after the ball had crossed the line. The sides will meet for the decider in Calabar on November 16. Members of AMISOM, Sierra Leone contingent stationed in Somalia, have begun daily foot patrols to deter Al-Shabaab militants from carrying out further attacks. African Union has called for more peacekeeping force in the country. Sadat Mohammed Sani takes up Reuters file.
The African Union has backed to call to boost by about a third the number of troops in African peacekeeping force in Somalia to reinforce a campaign against Islamist militants there who attacked a Nairobi shopping mall last month. The Union's Peace and Security Council said 6,235 soldiers and police should be added to the AMISOM peacekeeping force to take its total strength to 23,966 uniformed personnel from a limited period of 18 to 24 months. The Council endorsed the recommendations of a review of the force this week and announced its decision on Friday. The decision needs the approval of the UN Security Council. Members of the AMISOM Sierra Leone contingent stationed in Kismayo, Somalia, have already begun daily foot patrol as a way of deterring elements of militant group Al-Shabaab from carrying out probe attacks, according to a statement released by the African Union. African Union also released a video showing the AMISOM soldier patrolling toward the village of Gobena, which is where the militants now launch their probing attacks.
The aim of today's patrol is to patrol the Kismayo-Goboen highway onto Goboen village in order to clear all enemies along routes and Shabab elements along routes onto Goboen. That is our aim.
Sierra Leone has contributed hundreds of troops to international peacekeeping efforts after its civil war ended in 2002.
It's good personally for me as a soldier to serve and my boys as a soldier to serve in Kismayo, because during our war in Sierra Leone, other countries donated troops to see us from that particular trouble, and today we are here again to do same for another country.
AMISOM is made up of troops mainly from Kenya, Uganda and Burundi.
You've been watching ETV News with me, Rahel Taklehanis. Thanks for staying with us. Have a nice day.